Sometimes as you lay in bed, it might be your wife or yourself, and you hear that terrifying scream of a young child, or you hear that reverberation of an assailant's bomb that lands on innocent homes. You look into that little small screen of your phone in the darkness of your privacy and your room and security, and you feel, subhanAllah, where is the justice? I see the news just a couple of weeks before exiting to Hajj, that my brother, younger than me by 13 months, had passed away in a tragic car accident, leaving behind a loving wife and two beautiful teenage children, leaving behind an elderly father and mother, brothers and sisters, siblings, leaving behind businesses and wealth and homes, leaving behind so many things in an instant that although I am far, I could feel it near in my heart. I remember thinking to myself as I think about other people, other children, Gaza or not, far or near, that there's moments where darkness comes into my view and your view, and you feel that you and I are under siege, ahad. Subhanallah, when Allah describes His knowledge of us, ahada bikulli shay'in ilma, Allah has surrounded you with His knowledge. The inability to gather what you think is more rizq, the worry about what happens if I'm not here and who will look after them in my place, and how do I care and shelter and assist others? How do I protect myself? How do I remain consistent with Salah? The battle for Fajr, the battle for Isha, the battle for the Masjid. As darkness begins to set, Allahu Latifu bi'ibad. What does this word Al-Latif mean? Let us bring it into focus. I want you to travel back in time. I want you to sit with me on the hills of Gaza 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. I want you to see Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam as a young child. I want you to see him kidnapped by his own flesh and blood. I want you to see a conspiracy of those who nearly end his life, until just one out of many simply said, لا تقتلوا يوسف وألقوه في غيابة الجب. Just one. Don't kill him. Let somebody else do it. Surely must have fallen and been lost from his family who are looking for him. Surely if we just go a couple of 100 meters or miles around us, we will find to whom he belongs. But the darkness sets. We prefer to be jailed 3,000, 4,000 years ago in an undercover jail in what is present-day Saqqara, Egypt, under the ground. We've seen the horrors of the 20th century, 21st century in Syria. Imagine thousands of years ago, oh Allah, I would prefer that than what they invite me to. And if you were to see this as you sit with me unfolding in front of us in the hills of Palestine, and you think to yourself, what future would this child ever have? What didn't connect that this is from the lutf of Allah, that this is from the circumstances created by Allah? The ulama, the people who have an inward understanding of the heart, not just the eyes. فَإِنَّهَا لَا تَعْمَى الْأَبْصَارُ وَلَكِنْ تَعْمَى الْقُلُوبُ. It's not just eyes may be blinded, that the heart isn't able to see circumstances and reality. الروح and nafs. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seeks for us to better ourselves, to greater intuition, having this firasa of the believer, that we find even in the difficulty a mercy from Allah. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرِ. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرِ. And none sees this unless they look with their heart, even though their eyes may belie the truth of that reality. Of those who love you, وَحُبَّ الْعَمَلِ, and the love of the deeds that endear me to you, يُقَرِّبُنِي إِلَى حُبِّكَ. But the Prophet also tells us in the authentic hadith, إِذَا أَحَبَّ اللَّهَ عَبْدًا ابْتَلَاهُ, that when Allah loves one of His creation, He puts them into a trial that brings them to being endeared and loved by Allah. يُبْتَلَى الْمَرْءُ عَلَى حَسَبِ دِينِهِ. In other narrations, that a person's trial is on account of the religiosity and commitment to the deen. The Prophet ﷺ is not warning you, my dear brother, of only downturn. Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, he says in the Madarij and many other places, Al-ibtila'u bin-na'im aqsa min al-ibtila'u bil-diqh wal-faqr. To be tested with being given openness and comfort and revelry and joy and the ni'mah of Allah is showered upon you is more difficult of a test than for Allah to restrict it and put you in adversity and austerity. And at times we are not looking with the eye of the heart, that we see the obligation and the responsibility that it is due for the ni'mah of the safety and security of these blessed lands. And enduring in obedience to Allah is more difficult of a test to pass than being patient and enduring when calamity strikes. This is the deed that our ulama seek to clarify for us. يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين واخذل أعداءك أعداء الدين. اللهم اهدنا واهدهم يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها. اللهم انصر إخواننا في غزة وفي فلسطين وفي الضفة يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم كن لهم عونا ونصيرا. اللهم تقبل شهداءهم وداوي جرحاهم وفك أسراهم يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم بارك لنا في القرآن العظيم واجعلنا من أهله وخاصتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل اللهم وسلم وزد وبارك على عبدك ورسولك محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وأقم الصلاة.